What's up, y'all? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit. We're here with a very special edition remote interview with an incredible artist. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chanel Loren from Well, I live in Sydney, but I'm from London.
Chanel, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I've been listening to your music for a really long time. I think like the first time I discovered you was through your song playlist.
Yeah, that was my first debut single. I had other songs, but that was the first official one.
We were there early, and I've been a fan like since I first heard you, and it's been so cool watching you grow as an artist. And yeah, I'm just such a fan. I hope that everyone watching like goes and listens to you like immediately, and that they also fall in love with your sound. For our audience who isn't familiar with who you are, you want to tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from, and kind of how you started out making music?
I've been doing music since I was about 16, so it's been a while, but I went to performing arts school in London. I went to the Brit School, and then I moved to Australia and I studied the arts as well. So I've been studying music most of my life, which is great. I've always wanted to do music, but I just didn't know how to, so it was kind of like a slow process for me.
What kind of stuff were you studying in art school? Like, was there anything specific that you focused on?
So I studied musical theatre first. And then when I moved to Australia, I realized that I just kind of want to mainly do music, but maybe dance a little bit and maybe act a little bit. So I chose music full time because I liked the culture more. And then I studied production for a bit. I learned that. And I was a singing teacher for a while. So yeah, my whole life has been about music.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I feel like so many of my favorite people in the music world have like a musical theater background because I did musical theater in like middle school
Oh,
and high
did
school.
you?
I did. What was like your favorite play or like production that you were a part of when you did musical theater?
I really liked Chicago. Like that was my favorite. Yeah, Chicago and Dreamgirls, obviously.
Chicago was always a really fun one. I got to do like a really fun scene from Chicago when I was in high school. And yeah, that was really cool. Love that you have a musical theater background.
Musical theater is like the best because I feel like I learned so much and we learn about like old school singers like Frank Sinatra and stuff. So I think that's where I low-key got my like jazzy influence from.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And what else were you listening to when you were younger, like when you were growing up, going through school? Like, what was baby Chanel listening to?
I listen to hip hop a lot and R&B and also indie. I feel it's so funny because I feel like everything I listen to is showing through my music. But yeah, I used to listen to rap a lot. I just liked how rappers could use words and similes and metaphors and in a smart way. And sometimes you won't get it the first time. R&B slowly grew on me as I got older, like neo soul and stuff. At first, I was just listening to like commercial R&B, and then I
Mhm.
started to dig deeper into different subgenres.
When you kind of like went on from school and then like made that decision that you were like, I'm going to focus more on music itself more so than like musical theater. What was it like when you were like making your first few songs, and how did your journey as a recording artist like really begin?
So at first, it was more like assignments because I had to do like, oh, make a song with a key change, and I'd be like, okay, whatever. So at first, it was just more of just to tick off boxes, and then there was one time where I was like, okay, by the end of the year, I just need to make a song and release it. Like it was just more of that, and then I put it on
Yeah.
SoundCloud, and my friend was like, you should put it on Triple J Unearthed, which is it's a national radio in Australia that like helps with independent artists. And so I did that and it opened up a lot of doors for me. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I should do it. But it was honestly like a bucket list to be like by the end of the year, I release at least one song. I was determined, which was nice.
He really did that shit. And now it's so cool to look forward and be like, you've released all of these songs, you have a full length project on the way. The evolution is there. That's super cool. What would you say is like the biggest lesson that you took away from like music and art school?
I feel like what I took away the most, I think, is showmanship, especially like when I'm performing. We got taught how to like, if something messes up, don't show it too much. I think that shows a lot when I'm performing. I feel like I've learned a lot while doing it. They will tell you things, but you don't know what it is until you actually do it in real life. So I think it's more of that. I know a little bit of like theory and communicating with people, working in a team because we had to do ensembles. I think it was more of that. But finding out my true artistry was a lot of trial and error that I discovered through these singles and this said EP that's coming out.
Let's talk a little bit about that first song playlist. What made you decide like that was the song that was going to be kind of like your debut onto like your first song on Spotify? What made you make that step?
I made the song years ago and it took forever to finish. So I actually low-key didn't want it out. But my
Yeah.
friends were like, Chanel, you're tripping. And I remember being like, "Mm." I think I was also scared because I didn't want people to think I was just doing garage. And
Yeah.
so I just didn't want to put myself in a box. But then I was like, but I really like this song. Just do it, Chanel. That was my first proper song out of the songs I made by myself with someone else.
Mhm.
So I think it was more I was scared of like owning something that was so different. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it. I think to be honest, I had to release it. I realized I had to release that song to move on because I was
Right.
holding a lot of energy with that song.
No, it's good to just like release, and it's like that first step that really probably like unlocked a little bit of momentum for you to like keep
Yeah,
going and putting more
definitely.
stuff out. From playlist, what was the reaction from your fans and like your community of listeners? And how did things start building from there?
Yeah, it was crazy. I honestly was shocked. I get shocked with every release I do, to be honest. It was nice because I had some friends and like friends of the friends singing, and I was like, damn, people like this. My granny even messaged me saying I watched a video on YouTube, and I was like, wow, like I didn't think it would have been that positive of a reinforcement. And then slowly it's growing. Yeah, it's really intriguing to watch. And I always know if you like playlists that you've got good taste. I
True.
just yeah, because it's very different. It's not this, usual music that's coming out. So I'm getting really great feedback, which is really nice to see.
No, that's really amazing. And another one of your songs that I've just been so in love with since it came out was Carelessly Doomed. I think that is such a breathtaking song. Your melodies on there are so creative, so beautiful. Like to this day, it's like always stuck in my head. And I'm always like walking around my house singing it to myself. Tell me the story of how Carelessly Doomed came together.
Yeah, well, shout out to Cyrus because Cyrus and I co-wrote it together and he produced it. But
Hmm.
Carelessly Doomed, I think what I really like about the song in general is so organically done. I just had a session with Cyrus and he was like, oh, I just kind of made this chord pattern before you came in and he had the vocal, when I'm always in the right night. And I was
Hmm.
like, I really like that. Let's keep that in. Like, let's not even remove it. We don't even need to add the words. And then we
Yeah.
was just talking, and I was just saying how I've just been a bit overwhelmed with everything, and I'm such a perfectionist. And he was just like, let's write it in a song. And I was like, I think so. I know we write about heartbreak, not about personal lives. So like maybe we should not do that. And it was
Yeah.
just like, let's just do it and see where it goes. I think I really enjoyed that because it made me realize that I should be more vulnerable in my songwriting. It was fun. It was a different genre than what I've done before. I've always been told that I should do a bit more indie soul because I used to listen to Leanne the Havas. With my assignments, I always sang her songs. So I feel like subconsciously I knew I should have made a song like that. I just hadn't got to that point yet. Then we got the Kota feature, but that happened because I opened for him in 2022 and he
Hmm.
heard my music or heard me singing and he was like, we should collab in the future. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I just
Yeah.
feel like people just say that all the time. And then I posted a little snippet on Instagram and he responded being like, send me this. I was like, okay. And it just happened like that, which was so organic. It wasn't like, my team hitting his team up. He just actually really liked the song and it inspired him. So it's very
Oh,
special to me.
it feels that way. Like I had a feeling that the way it came together was really organic like that because I feel like both of your sounds on there just like blend really well and it he feels like a really natural part of the song. It doesn't feel like a feature that was just like tossed on there. Like it really feels like
Yeah.
a true collaboration. So that's really beautiful. I love that. And then the most recent single you just dropped, Ring Ring, is a fucking banger and I love it so much. Tell me a little bit
Mm.
about that one and how that one came together.
Ring Ring came about. I had a random session, so the session wasn't even for me. Like an artist pulled out, and then I got called to have the session. And I was like, do you know what? I ain't doing nothing with my life today. Let me go in the session and hope for the best because I was having like terrible writer's block. I was just a bit like, let's hope it's good. But Jujo, the producer, he's from Melbourne. He was sick. I don't know. I think it was just the energy was right. I was just a bit like to him, don't make what you think I'm gonna use. Like, let's just do something different and fresh. And he just showed the bass line. And I was like, okay, I like the bass line. And so as he was like making the beat, I kind of was like scrambling through lyrics. And I found old lyrics of a song that I made. And I just used the first half. And it kind of just opened up a door from that. I
Mhm.
started like rapping. I've never rapped in a song before. So it was fun. I was out of my comfort zone and it made me realize that I can create in a bigger way instead of just always singing. I could use my voice in different ways and figure out what my voice is. And remembering, yeah, I was angry. I was very like overwhelmed. Basically, I've just been overwhelmed. Like this EP
Yeah.
has been a catalog of me being overwhelmed in different ways. My overwhelmment turned into anger. I was just frustrated. And so that song was just perfect for me because I felt like I had to release that energy.
I feel that energy on there. And it must have been so cool to have that moment where you're like, damn, like I'm so pissed off that I'm rapping and it sounds like really good. Can you see yourself like implementing that into more music in the future?
Definitely. Now that I know I can do it and people like it, because at first I was like, oh, people are going to be like, what is she doing? But people really like it. And I'm so surprised. I've met someone who was like, oh, I thought you was a rapper. I was like, no, I'm a singer. So that's a great compliment because at least I know I can do it. Because I like to use my voice as a tool to give emotion. I don't want to just always use my voice as like something pretty, unless it's a pretty
Yeah.
song and I want it to be pretty. I really want to story tell with my music in some sort of way and create emotion for people to feel instead of it just being a song, you know?
Totally. I think that's something I love most about your music is like I really do feel like each song makes me feel like a really specific way. And when I like want to feel a certain emotion, like I know which Chanel song to put on.
Yeah.
So like that's definitely working. And it's so cool that you have that intention because like I feel that when I listen.
I've also dropped a single as well that came out 2 days ago. So it's called Ebony.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I should have listened to that before getting on here, but
No, it's
tell me a
fine.
little bit about
Let me know
Ebony.
after. Ebony is about, at first I was talking about like the limitations I feel in the industry in Australia because there isn't really an R&B ecosystem happening. I feel like me and some of my friends are the first of the first, which is very
Yeah.
frustrating. So that was my frustration at first when I had the session with Cyrus. And then I was just a bit like, I want to write a love song. I want it to feel like a big hug because I feel like I need a hug right now. And so I was like, oh, I'll start saying I like the way. And he was like, no, let's say like a certain name. And he said, how about Emily? And I was like, I don't know no Emily, especially
Yeah.
no black girl called Emily. So let's find a different word. He was like, okay, let's just have a placeholder. And when you figure out something, let me know. And we finished the song. And then I got home and I literally just sang My Ebony. And I was like, that's the name of the.
Ah,
And then it became a completely different world because at first I was talking about it was for me, but then I realized it's for so many other little black girls and like black women who need that hug. It's a song of grace. It's a beautiful song. But yeah, I
oh,
can't wait to see your reaction with that one.
I'll literally film my live reaction for you. Like I'm
Yes.
so excited to hear it. That's really beautiful. I love how like that additional meaning became part of it. Like once you chose that name, that's really cool how a song can like take on like more life after it's originally created in that way. But yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about like your writing process. What's your headspace like when you're coming up with lyrics? Do you like to kind of like freestyle stuff? Do you like to write it down?
I think it's all of them. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I feel like I'm such a blue moon writer. Like sometimes I won't write for a year and then there'll be 1 year where I'm writing every other week. So I'm trying to figure out how to tame that. If there's a way, I don't
Mm.
know. I feel like when there's actual flow for me, I would hear like a beat or chords and I hear the words in my head and I just start kind of writing as I go and then singing to see if it fits. So that's my best way of writing, but it's the hardest way because it never comes all the time. If I am stuck, I will just freestyle melodies and then sort out the order and then write to that. But sometimes that's hard because I might not know what I want to say. So I'm trying to get into maybe writing. I've never done that before. I feel like that's so weird to write something first. Sometimes I do freestyle words as well when I am doing melodies. So that's cool. I'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
Got you. Who are some songwriters that you look up to or that you like really admire their work?
I love Anderson .Paak, Erica Badu, Jill Scott has an amazing pen.
Mm,
I really like Jordan Ward's. I love
yeah,
Jordan Ward's. Duckworth is really good. The fact that he can just morph into different sounds and create different worlds, amazing. I do love Amy Winehouse. I loved how she would write songs, and Mahalia is really good. I love Mahalia's music too.
Mahalia is great. I feel like I could definitely see you like collaborating with Mahalia in the
Yeah, I hope
future.
so. One day, yeah.
Mahalia, like if you're watching this, please tap in. What's like the one unifying element among all your favorite songwriters that makes them great to you?
I think it's their voice. Like they all have a distinct voice. They've learned how to figure out what they want as an artist. I think that's what inspires me a lot by them. They're all different. I know that if I hear a song, I know it's them and it's not
Mhm.
just another artist. They're very distinctive. I think that's what really inspires me by them and just how like smart they are with describing their feelings. Even if it's straightforward and simple, it's how it's done and their choice of beats as well. Yeah, I think it's the whole package of them.
Yeah, no, all those people you mentioned definitely all have that, especially just like having that real distinct sound where like you hear them and immediately you know who it is. Like you don't have to listen for a minute and be like, I think it's this
Yeah.
artist, but I don't know. It's like, no, the second you hear an Anderson .Paak song, like you know. Even when there's songwriters who write for other artists, you can still like hear the lyrics of a song and be like, this sounds like whoever wrote this song. Like
Yeah.
that's really it's really powerful when a songwriter can get like that, you know?
Oh, I forgot Scissor. How could I forget
Oh
Scissor?
yeah.
I love Scissor.
The goat. Yeah. She's like, especially with SOS, like I feel like she revolutionized what
Mm,
songwriting can be like. Like that album is so
yeah.
insane. Now let's talk about your project. Let's talk about the upcoming
Yes.
album. It's releasing July 12th. It's called Between Two Worlds. Firstly, what does that title mean? How'd you come up with that title?
The title came. I laugh because it's so funny because I'm kind of dramatic, but I was having a talk with my management and they were asking me a lot of like questions that I didn't really want to answer, like small things like, tell me about yourself. And I was like, I don't want to tell you about myself. I don't want to tell you
Yeah.
that I'm from London and I live in Australia and I do this type of music because I felt like I just didn't fit in anywhere. So I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't fit in Australia as an artist. I don't fit in as London as an artist. I don't even know where I belong anymore. Like literally just being like, and one of my managers was like, it's okay to be between two worlds. And I just stopped crying. I was like, that's the name of the EP. And that was in
Aw.
2022. So it's a long time coming. It's weird because I feel like the way I write is there doesn't really have to be a storyline per se. It's just the era I'm in, you
Yeah.
know, because I write what I'm experiencing. So why wouldn't I name it that? Between two worlds, like I'm between two worlds, I'm claiming it. It's not a
Mhm.
bad thing anymore. Like I'm not embarrassed. Like I'm actually privileged to be in two different countries and experience like two different lives. I don't fit in, and that's a good thing. Yeah, that was how it happened through a breakdown.
Yeah, break down the breakthroughs. Like some of the best moments happen from like, you know, just a really good emotional breakdown. And just like when you're at your lowest, sometimes you can have like real moments of clarity. So it's cool you had that moment. I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into that, I guess, like knowing that that's like a real big theme of the EP and like the
Yeah.
era you were in when you were making this music. Like, what about being from London and now in Sydney? Where do you feel you don't fit in both places? And like, what are those
Mm.
emotions like for you to deal with?
I feel like in Australia, I don't fit in culturally. I'm used to the culture, but like as an individual, I don't feel like I fit in anywhere because I'm from the Caribbean as well. There's not that much Caribbean people in
Mhm.
Australia. So just the cultural division sometimes is a bit hard for me to navigate. But I've built friendships and communities. So it's not like I don't fit in. but I am the odd one out. I'm Chanel with the English accent, you know. I studied majority of schooling in London. So in London, I feel like I do fit in, but then what I don't fit in is that I don't really know what's happening culturally because I'm in a different country. And
Right.
so sometimes my memories is when I was younger instead of it being like a, you know, fresh memories. And so I was also scared of going back to start again because why would I start again in my hometown? Yeah, it just feels like I don't fit in different ways. Like what I fit in here is how I don't fit in there and vice versa. And I have friends and family in the UK. It's just me, my mom, and my brother in Australia. So two different worlds, literally.
Literally, yeah. And I definitely can understand how you feel like kind of on a much smaller scale. When I was younger, my parents were separated and I would go back and forth between their houses
Mm.
constantly. And I had one parent who was like really strict and one parent who was like a lot more free. And I would constantly feel like just ping ponging between like, two places where you feel kind of out of place. At my dad's house, I had no friends, but then at my mom's house, I had no friends, but it was like way more strict and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So definitely like understand what you mean there. Yeah, tell me a little bit about the sounds that you're exploring on Between Two Worlds. What does the music itself sound like? Who did you collaborate with in terms of your producers on there? Just like give us the musical overview of what we can expect
Yeah.
from the EP.
It's so funny how everything turned out with this EP because at first I really wanted it to be like, I'm telling a story. I'm gonna express how I feel that I'm between two worlds. And the universe was like, no, you're doing too much, calm down. And every time I tried to do a song like that, it just never happened.
Yeah.
So there's 6 songs in the EP and they're all different genres. So Carelessly Doomed is the indie soul. Ring Ring is like that, I guess, hip hop type of element. Ebony is it's very like Daniel Caesar R&B. Old Fruit, I really like that one. It's very jazzy, it's very jazz leaning. I leaned more on my jazz side. I've never done that before. I have a song called Bubble Wrap, and that's very like poppy. It's like air candy that I've been told. That was fun to do, out of my comfort zone, but fun. And
Mhm.
then what's the other one? I released it though. Zone, my baby
Zone.
Zone.
Of
How
course,
can I
we didn't even
forget
talk about
Zone?
Zone.
Oh my gosh, Zone is my baby. Zone took like 10 producers to get to where we were. I don't even know what genre Zone's in. Zone has its own vibe. Yeah, Zone is just Chanel Loren. How can I forget about my baby? I love Zone. I love all of them. They all were really hard parts of my creativity. It wasn't an easy thing. They were challenging in so many ways. Some was musically and some was lyrically, some was just the whole process of making the song was hard. It came together as 6 different worlds, which is 6 different genres, but my voice is the place that stays the same.
Yeah.
Even if I do rap, like, it's me. And so it was just kind of a way to be like, even though I'm between two worlds, I know who I am. And that's the most important thing, which is, yeah, it's beautiful. I didn't know that was the story of it until it was made. And I sat back and I was like, wow, this is why it was hard, because it shouldn't have been just a, alternative R&B album, I mean EP. It was more of a self-discovery EP where I had to like prove to myself that I'm more than what I think I am.
Oh my gosh. That's really beautiful. I'm so happy that you got to look back at it in that way. And if people can learn like one thing about you from listening to the whole EP, the self-discovery journey of Between Two Worlds, what's one thing you want people to walk away with, like knowing about you?
I think that I would want people to walk away and know that I'm genuine and I have the love for the art and I'm willing to explore who I am, even if it scares me, and that I want to develop as an artist and just create freely while helping other people feel related or heard. I think that's my goal. I want it to be bigger than me, not just, oh, I wrote this song for how I feel. How do you feel when you listen to my music? Sometimes I just write in my room by myself, not thinking about anyone else. But when I do release it, when people come back and say it helped me or it affected me like this, it pushes me to create more, because sometimes I don't feel like my voice is needed in this industry full of so many other great musicians. So yeah, I just want people to relate to me and understand me in different ways, because sometimes I don't like to express things that I have said in my songs.
I hear you. Well, I want you to know that your voice is definitely so needed. Like, I feel like your music is so special to me. It's really touching, and I feel like that real emotional intention you put behind everything is like super powerful. So, your
Thank
voice is
you.
definitely needed, and I'm so excited for the world to hear this EP. Again, it's out July 12th for everyone watching, so make sure you listen to it. Are you going to be doing anything special to celebrate the release?
Yes, I'm gonna have an EP launch party, which will be my first one, trying to sort that out. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It'll be in Sydney. But yeah, hopefully I come to New York and America and I haven't been before.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you make your way out here for the first time, let me know. I'm in New
Yeah, I'm
York.
gonna hit you up.
I'll give you a tour of like all the good spots. We're gonna celebrate when you touch down here for the first time, but I'm sure that Sydney release party is gonna be really fun. Okay, we only have a couple minutes until Zoom kicks us out. So the last thing I want to ask you, Chanel, is what have you been listening to lately? Like what's on the top of your playlist and what artists are you like most excited about right now as a fan?
I've been listening to Y Lords. That's on rotation.
Bro.
That's on
Yeah.
rotation. Since it dropped, been on rotation.
Yes.
I love Destin Conrad. Destin
Yeah.
Conrad is amazing.
He's
Yeah.
incredible. You got really good taste. I
Thank
love
you.
that. Wait, is it winter in Sydney?
Yes, it's raining right now.
Okay. I've been asking everyone what's on their summertime playlist, but for you, since it's winter, I want to know like what's your favorite
Mm.
song to listen to in the winter that makes you feel like cozy? It's like your wintertime anthem.
Do you know, I would say something that's like Baby Rose.
Ooh, yeah, that's a real
Baby
warm,
Rose.
cozy vibe. Listening to Baby Rose literally just feels like wrapping yourself in a blanket. Well, Chanel, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me again. I'm such a fan and I'm really looking forward to this EP. And I just think everything you do is so amazing. So thank you for being
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you and you're doing a great job like with just pushing music and the culture. Yeah, I'm really happy to have this interview with you.
Thanks, girl. That means a lot. And is there anything else that you want the people to know about Chanel Loren?
Listen to the music and you'll know Chanel Loren. How about that?
About that.
Please listen to me. Please. I need the streams.
This has been so wonderful, and I really look forward to when you do make it out to the US, or I've always wanted to go to Australia. I've never been. So
Yeah,
when
let
you go
me
to
know.
Sydney, I'll let you know. Thank you so much, Chanel. Good luck with everything with the EP. Congrats in advance.
Thank you so much.